This 2022 Nissan Titan may not be the most popular full-size truck, but maybe it should be, and honestly, it's one of the more traditional trucks that you can currently buy. There's several reasons why, and I'm gonna go through that in this review and see whether or not this should be the full-size truck you should be buying for you. We'll take a full detailed look at the exterior, the interior, get it out on the road for a test drive. Let's get started. Before we get started, my name is Nolan. I do full reviews like this every single week, and if you want to skip around, I've got timestamps and chapters in the description below, so be sure to check that out if you want to go from part to part. But let's jump into it. All right, y'all, let's take a look at the exterior details. So first of all, there is no SL trim level anymore, and this is still the refreshed design from 2020, but trim levels are now the S, SV, Pro 4X, and the top end Platinum Reserve, and we have the Pro 4X here. So starting right up front, first of all, you'll see this little lower radiator skid plate. That's actually standard. You'll get more skid plates on 4x4 models and this Pro 4X model. We've got the red Nissan logo, red tow hooks here as well. And we've got LED headlights and LED fog lights with the LED daytime running light. These headlights look really nice. They stand out a lot. They actually get a poor rating from the IIHS, but I think they still do a good job. It's just for glare. And you'll actually get halogen headlights on some lower trim levels, so keep that in mind. And then the blinkers tucked in right up under there. With this off-road variant, the Pro 4X gets the badging right there. You've got the fender flares, the black door handles, black mirrors, kind of some black accents here, even the black Titan branded running boards there as well. And wheels will vary a little bit from 18 to 20 inch depending on what you get, but we have 18-inch wheels with this Pro 4X. I think they look nice for an off-road type of variant. Plus we get all-terrain tires on here as well. Another thing coming up here, check out these mirrors. So you've got this big blinker on the mirror. You've got these large mirrors with the spotter mirror down there too. Great for towing, and this is even automatic dimming up here as well. That's really cool. Dimensionally, this is about 229.5 inches long. It's a little bit shorter than some of the other crew cab competitors that you'll see, but ground clearance is better than some at almost 10 inches. And this Pro 4X model gives us Bilstein monotube off-road shocks, hydraulic cab mounts to isolate the chassis, electronic locking rear diff, but there's no suspension lift. The rear end is going to give you a little different tailgate finisher depending on the trim. Plus we get LED taillights, this kind of same design that you'll see with up front, just mirrored there. And there is a full-size spare tire tucked underneath there. Now coming to the bed of the truck, you'll get either a 5.5 foot box or a 6.5 foot box with the King cab, the extended cab version. A couple things here. So this is a lockable tailgate. You've got this optional bumper step, just pops out. It feels really nice and sturdy too. You don't have to lower the tailgate to get the step out like you do with F-150. This is lockable, like I said, and it's the damped lowering, easy lift, super lightweight. Let's take a look at the bed. Now as we take a look at the rest of the bed, one thing I love is the optional Utilitrack. These movable cleats all the way down and on the back and coming over to the cross like the Nissan Frontier. We don't have the bed mounts like you saw before in the old Frontier. We still got fixed tie downs here. Even 120 volt, 400 watt, 3-prong outlet right there is optional too. Pretty standard sized bed right here overall. I mean, we've got this bed liner in here as well, which is nice. You can see some LED lighting tucked in under the rail there, and then LED lighting is standard up on the cab. One thing we don't have in here is the available dual lockable in-bed storage boxes that are available on the Platinum Reserve. Payload numbers aren't fantastic, but for what most people will use, I think they'll be fine, anywhere from 1,650 pounds up to just over 1,700 pounds. The XD can get around 2,400 pounds though. Now Nissan still actually gives us the smart key. You get remote start on here as well as an option, and it works well. Now this does have the smart key system where you push this button to lock it or to unlock it. That's pretty much it, how it goes. No sensor, nothing like that. We've got hard material up here on the door, which is kind of surprising. You know, if you want to rest your arm up there, a lot of vehicles nowadays have this soft, but this will be more durable. Soft armrest right here. And then good storage down there, a couple good bottle holders and enough space for some gloves or tools or whatever you need to throw in there. Plus, memory settings are optional on this particular model. So you've got the entry exit system. The steering wheel is power adjustable as well. That will move. The seat will move to your preferred setting if you want it to. We've got two-way lumbar support here. We still have the height adjustment, tilt adjustment, forward, backwards, and reclining. So all the adjustments, the seats are kind of flat. These are still Nissan Zero Gravity seats, and they are comfortable. I've got no complaints with them. They don't have as much bolstering as some, but these are pretty darn comfortable seats. And the leather is optional on this Pro 4X as well. Not super soft, but still, like I said, they are comfortable. There's still plenty of space in here too. Crew cab trucks, they just have all kinds of space. You can all fit in here and probably be pretty comfortable. There's no adjustable pedals on here like there is on some different models, different trucks, but I think most of you will be able to get comfortable in here. And to top it off, we've got the optional heated and ventilated seats. So both heated and ventilated on driver and passenger. Moving to the back seat, first of all, the door, you still get a soft armrest. This is hard up here, but this is soft there. You get a grab handle for easy entry. A couple bottle holders down here too. And these seats, this back seat space isn't quite as spacious legroom wise as some of the big three, but it's still plenty darn spacious. I mean, these crew cabs are just massive. You can lift both seats up, and let me show you what you can do with this. With this 40-60 split back seat, you can fold these down and have a completely flat area. Obviously, it's maybe not ideal, but it gives you a flat surface to load stuff, and you have a hook on each side to sling some bags or tools or whatever, or maybe grocery bags if you want to do that. Then a little handle to lower it down. Nice functionality here. Plus, pull this little strap back there and you still have a little bit of space back here to throw a couple items like maybe jumper cables or something. And you even have some storage underneath of here that can be locked with that. Fully functional and versatile back seat. I love it. You know, in a lot of the videos I do on different pickups, people always complain about crew cab trucks and these short boxes. For families, they work great. For a lot of people, they work great. And with this back seat being able to be used like that with storage, a flat load floor, it's really convenient to be able to put some stuff inside the cab. So crew cabs are actually more usable than what people really think they are. And I've got a family. I can put a car seat back here, no problem at all if I need to. And I've got excellent leg room right here. I'm only 5'9", and this is where I like to sit at 5'9". There's still a ton of foot space and knee space. You've got these cup holders right here, easy access for the second row. They've got air conditioning vents back here, and there's actually not air conditioning vents on every trim level. That was a little bit of a surprise for me. They're optional on the SV and not available on the base, but we even have the optional heated seats. We've got a 12-volt power outlet, 120-volt outlet, and 2 USB ports right there, so you're set with your plugs. And if you still want, you've got a center folding armrest with some actual good size cup holders there. The Titan still gives us push button start right there. And there we go. It's not the most wowing type of interior like there is on some of the new ones, like the big three. They've really stepped up their game in terms of like digital displays, giant screens, things like that. But I like the traditional feel of this with like real buttons without being complicated. Standard gauge setup right there, and it's just comfortable to drive. And there's something special about how this steers that I'll talk about in the test drive. This is also a heated steering wheel. This is an optional feature as well. Over here, we've got a couple accessory buttons right here, like your cargo lamp, your inverter back there, the electronic locking rear differential, downhill assist, and this actually moves your headlights up and down. So if you're towing, you can lower your headlights so they're not blinding somebody if your front end is raised a little bit. Right in front of us, we've got this standard gauge setup right here with this screen in the middle. I like having some physical gauges, but still the option of a digital display too. So everything here is controlled on the steering wheel. There's a good amount of information and some customization on here too, even some different gauges that you can see on here. So there's a lot of information available to you if you want to see it, like your auxiliary gauges. That's nice to see on here too. Believe it or not, we still get a column shifter. I actually like this because it frees up space right here. I grew up with a couple of different pickups and they both had column mounted shifters, obviously. Do you prefer the column? Do you prefer like a dial like there is in Ram, a push button, or the console shifter? Let me know below. But go into reverse, we've got a surround view camera, the intelligent around view monitor. This is optional. You'll get a backup camera standard, but you've got this view over there. It's not the best. It's nowhere near as clear or as detailed as some others, but at least you still have it. Push the camera button and you can see next to the wheel, which can be very helpful. Otherwise, you can just go straight on backup camera. Now, one thing that is missing compared to a lot of vehicles is a like a mat up here or a little storage area. I like to throw my wallet or sunglasses up there, but there isn't one up here, and there's not a dual glove box like there is in some others too. It'd be nice to see that if they could throw it in here just for some extra storage. But screen wise, an 8-inch screen is standard, but this is the 9-inch screen, which most of you will probably get. This does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard. It has to be wired on every trim level, but it looks good on here. It works just fine. You can back out real easily by pushing the physical buttons, volume knob, tuning knob. It's nice to see those physical buttons, but this infotainment is definitely outdated feeling. It's the old version from Nissan. Kind of annoying to use compared to some of the newest stuff, but it works just fine for most people. Dual zone climate control in here as well. You and your passenger get your own controls, knobs, buttons, actual manual fan speed controls. I like being able to do all of that. Just down from there, we've got front and rear parking sensors. You got your safety shield here, right here. I'll go through that in a little bit. We've got a 12-volt power outlet over there. Our 4-wheel drive controls are over here. I just have one complaint. I like how it's right there, but I wish we had an automatic setting. If you've never had an automatic setting in your 4-wheel drive vehicle, it really does help in off and on slippery situations. I grew up in the north, ice, snow, mud, slush, off and on all the time, and it was really convenient to have an automatic setting. But not a big deal. Trailer brake controller, I have actually towed with the Titan before a couple of years ago. The trailer brake controller worked well. You've got a USB-A, USB-C, ventilated and heated seat controls, a little storage bin right there. This little thing is interesting. You can have your cord funnel through the bottom, and it's got a spot to actually like slide your phone. 2 phones fit there. This piece can be removed. This can be removed, so you can flip-flop them and have them in different orders if you want, or have more space for storage down there. Bottle holders are nice and large. They accommodate big drinks, little drinks, but they don't have any little like rubber pieces or things that grip smaller drinks, so be aware of that. Massive armrest right here. This is quite comfortable. It's at a good height too. Open this up. You've got a big bin right there, a movable or removable bin right there. Plus, you also have some little storage next to the center console here. And like I said, these things can be removed, so you've got some storage underneath of there. I like Rams a little better where things can slide forward and backwards, but this still works, and it's nice to have the utility with that. Just a single glove box, but it's still lockable, which is nice to see. Opens up with a damp like that. Automatic dimming rearview mirror right here, and this is actually not frameless, which I like. This also gives us our garage controls on here as well. We've got sunglass holders up overhead. We've got just your standard LED lighting in there. Get that to stay up. We've got a power rear window right here. Plus, check this out. We've got this panoramic roof, this twin panel dual pane roof right here. Not something I expected in the Titan. Another thing is that we have the Fender audio system. It is a 12 speaker with a subwoofer, and it does sound pretty nice in here too. Now, one of the ways this feels very traditional that I love is that the V8 engine is standard. That's the only option. There's no turbos, there's no hybrid. Even though it'd be cool if they offered something else, a V8 is what you get no matter what. So under the hood here is the standard direct injected 5.6 liter Endurance V8 with 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. This is paired with their 9-speed automatic, and of course it can come with either a 4x2 or 4x4. We have the 4x4 here with the Pro 4X. And we'll talk about how this drives in a second. There still is the Nissan Titan XD. There's no diesel for that like there was a few years prior. It's the V8 engine here as well. Now, towing wise, I'll give you specs here in a second, but there's a trailer brake controller, there's trailer sway control, a trailer light check, even downhill speed control. So towing wise, you're still set with this Titan. And towing numbers aren't going to be quite what they are on some of the other ones, especially the big 3, but they're still good. I mean, this can tow well over 9,000 pounds right here, and the XD over 11,000 pounds. And one more thing, this Titan has a great warranty. It's 5 years, 100,000 mile, bumper to bumper. Engine, interior components, everything, that warranty. Efficiency's not great, but it's not terrible considering it's a V8 either. With this Pro 4X, we get 15 city and 20 highway, but you can get up to 21 on the highway. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this 2022 Titan, and one of the things that kind of surprises me is Since they refreshed this in 2020, this has been standard with Nissan Safety Shield. So you've got automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, you've got the blind spot monitoring, same thing with backing up, the rear automatic braking, lane departure warning, all that stuff is standard on every trim. And this one gets the intelligent radar-based cruise control as well. And one thing that makes this feel more traditional, like I kind of talked about, is that this has hydraulic steering. I mean, it has a pretty hefty steering to it, whereas you got some pretty light weighted steering on some of the other full-size trucks nowadays. This feels like the Frontier. If you've been in the Frontier, it still has that heavy hydraulic steering. Now when you're going a decent clip, it's not real heavy, but if you're doing some slow maneuvers, it's actually pretty darn heavy. And if you're used to it, if you're used to older trucks, you're gonna love it because it feels like that. If you want something that's really simple to park and maneuver, you might not like it so much. I like the way it feels, but it's definitely something you're gonna want to get behind the wheel of and test out for yourself. Now obviously ride comfort isn't a big deal in trucks for the most part. Compared to all the other trucks, I would say that this is maybe, you know, bottom tier as far as ride comfort. I honestly like it because it feels like a truck. You've got leaf springs in the back, no coils like you get with the new Toyota or with Ram. Those have very comfortable rides. This one not as much. It still has kind of a bumpy, jittery truck-based ride, which is fine for most people, but just something you might want to know. But it feels super durable. I did get to drive this off-road a couple of years ago, and it just feels like a tank. It feels like it can really take a beating in this suspension. And this is the Pro 4X, so this is going to be a little bit different than the other Titan models. Powertrain here, just a little pedal. This 9-speed has been pretty quick to respond, and it's been very smooth for the most part. This V8 9-speed combo, it works well. Braking on here also feels pretty good. I've been able to tow with the Titan, but not lately, to really know what it's like to brake with the towing. But you've got that trailer brake controller down there that I showed you guys, so you're set with that. Now for those of you that love V8 sounds, love V8 power, this still has pretty good torque, all things considered, for being naturally aspirated, but pedal down on the V8. And it's got great get up and go. The V8 sounds fantastic. There was definitely a delay for that kick down to get going, but for the most part, just a little partial pedal here. The 9-speed grabs pretty quickly. A little bit more pedal. So just partial pedals is where you're really gonna get a lot of quick torque. I mean, it's torquey. It's not quite as punchy and torquey as a turbo, but dang, it still grabs really well. Like, if it just has a little downshift to do, it holds pretty well. So power wise, this Titan definitely delivers. It's standard with this V8 as well, and it sounds pretty good. And you don't need to lay into it like some naturally aspirated engines to really get some power. But here we go, let's lay into it. Good power delivery, transmission's been smooth and responsive. A lot to like about it. Now for those of you that are going to use this for commuting or for family duty, just know that this is a quiet ride. So even on a rough textured road like this, if you've seen any of my other videos, some vehicles, it is so loud on this road, but it's pretty quiet in here. I had good decibel ratings on a rough textured surface like this, and even at high interstate speeds as well. So it's a quiet ride overall. And to wrap things up, I like the interior. I mean, it's not a high-class interior, it's not fancy and luxurious, but you still get bells and whistles in a sense. It just doesn't have that appeal of the luxury type trucks that you get in some of them. The Platinum Reserve is the top end one, but it's still gonna look and feel very similar to this. I like how easy the controls are. I like the regular gauges here. The visibility out of here is great, and the power is definitely nice too. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. Now to wrap things up on this 2022 Titan, Obviously, like I said, it's got the standard V8. It feels like a truck. It's got hydraulic steering, so it drives like a truck. It's still got buttons and knobs, and it's not overly complicated and just predicated on big screens and tech. It still feels and drives like a truck, and I think a lot of you that would be looking at maybe the big three, Ram, Ford, Chevy, GM, would still like this. But let me know what you think down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this Nissan Titan. Would you like to see something more modernized, kind of like the other ones, or more traditional truck, just like this? Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.